Imagine a leader who's been steering the ship of a nation for 3 years, only to face a sudden storm in regional waters that threatens to rock the boat. This is the dramatic reality Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim confronted in the recent Sabah state elections, where his coalition suffered a crushing defeat that's sparking debates about leadership, autonomy, and the future of the country's political landscape. But here's where it gets controversial. Is this just a regional hiccup, or a warning sign of bigger unrest ahead? Let's dive into the details and unpack what happened, why it matters, and the simmering tensions that could redefine Malaysia's power dynamics. In the heart of Borneo, Sabah, a vibrant but economically challenged state known for its stunning rainforests, diverse cultures, and strategic importance to Malaysia, held its state assembly elections. The results, announced on Sunday, painted a stark picture for Anwar Ibrahim's Pakatan Harapan (PH) coalition. They managed to secure victory in just 1 out of the 20 seats they contested, a sharp decline from the 7 seats they previously held in this eastern Malaysian state. For context, Sabah is one of Malaysia's largest states by land area but often lags in development, making elections here a litmus test for how well national leaders connect with local needs. This electoral setback marks a tough first challenge for Anwar since he assumed the premiership 3 years ago. As a seasoned political figure, Anwar has navigated Malaysia through economic shifts and international relations, but these regional polls are the opening act in a series of tests leading up to national elections slated for early 2028. Think of it as a warm-up game that could signal whether his government is hitting the right notes with voters or if adjustments are needed to keep the coalition in harmony. Despite PH's poor showing, the Gabungan Rakyat Sabah, GRS, a local coalition of state-focused parties that aligns with Anwar's broader ruling bloc, managed to hold on to power in Sabah, retaining control of the state government. However, GRS isn't out of the woods, it's under growing scrutiny due to its ties to Anwar's federal coalition. Many in Sabah are pushing for more independence, or greater autonomy, arguing that the state deserves a stronger say in its own affairs rather than being overshadowed by decisions from Kuala Lumpur. This tension highlights a classic debate in federal systems: how much control should the centre exert versus empowering regions to govern themselves? And this is the part most people miss: the push for autonomy isn't just political, it's fueled by real frustrations over economic disparity, where Sabah, rich in resources like oil and timber, often feels shortchanged in national wealth distribution. Anwar responded diplomatically, extending congratulations to GRS leader Haji Nur on his reappointment as Sabah's chief minister. Through a social media post, he acknowledged the electorate's strong and clear message for meaningful transformation, citing past injustices and neglect by various political groups. Yet, he remained silent on the heavy losses endured by his PH allies, and his office chose not to elaborate further. This selective focus could be seen as strategic, but it also raises eyebrows. Is Anwar prioritizing unity over accountability, or is he simply biding his time? Political analyst Lee Kuk Cheung, an associate professor at University Malaysia, offered insightful commentary on the results. He pointed out that Sabah voters tend to favor parties deeply rooted in the region, emphasizing issues like increased state autonomy and tangible improvements in essentials such as clean water, reliable electricity, and better road networks. Anwar, Lee suggested, should tune into these local vibes and reassess how effectively his government is delivering on past commitments. For beginners in Malaysian politics, this underscores a key lesson: national leaders often succeed not by imposing top-down agendas, but by listening to and addressing grassroots concerns, much like how a captain adjusts sails based on shifting winds. The situation escalated earlier this month when a minister from Sabah stepped down from Anwar's federal cabinet. This followed a court ruling in October that declared the federal government had breached a historic agreement from over 50 years ago. Back in the 1960s, when Sabah joined Malaysia, it was promised 40% of the federal revenue generated from its own resources, a deal intended to ensure the state's fair share of wealth. Anwar addressed this on Sunday, stating that his administration is actively working to settle these long-standing claims and will keep supporting Sabah. But here's the controversy brewing. Some critics argue this breach represents a betrayal of trust, potentially eroding public faith in federal promises. Others counter that resolving such issues requires time and negotiation, pointing to similar debates in other federations like the United States or Canada, where states or provinces often jostle for more equitable resource sharing. Could this be a pivotal moment for reform, or is it a flashpoint for deeper divisions? To provide some background, Anwar's rise to Prime Minister in November 2022 came after a parliamentary election that resulted in a hung parliament. No single party or coalition had a clear majority, forcing cross-party alliances to form a government. This unity government has brought stability, but events like the Sabah polls test its resilience. As Malaysia gears up for more regional elections and the national vote, the question looms: will Anwar adapt to local demands, or will these setbacks amplify calls for change? In wrapping up, this Sabah election isn't just a regional event, it's a mirror reflecting broader themes of power, fairness, and identity in Malaysia. But what do you think? Does Anwar's response signal strength in the face of adversity, or does it expose weaknesses that could topple his administration? Is the push for Sabah autonomy a rightful demand for justice, or a recipe for fragmentation in a diverse nation like Malaysia? Share your views in the comments. Do you agree with the analyst's take, or see a different angle? Let's discuss.